Hi, and welcome to the eClinic information session. I want to provide you with a bit of information about becoming a clinician in the eClinic. I'm Dr. Donna Shapiris, and I am the director of the Palo Alto University eClinic.
And I'm Helen Valles, and I'm currently a clinical mental health counseling student at PAU and also an eClinic clinician.
So just a little bit about the eClinic at PAU. We are a supplemental practicum site, so we're able to provide you with supervised hours that count towards your degree and licensure for master's students in counseling, and also count towards your internship hours if you're a PsyD or a PhD psychology student. Our clinic is primarily CBT focused, but we do offer and welcome a range of theoretical orientations. You work closely with your supervisor based on your theoretical orientation as well as theirs. Our clients are primarily college-age students. We serve a number of college success agencies, and primarily the treatment is around anxiety and depression, things related to school, but also relationships and just general mental health and well-being of young adults. A little bit about how we got here. As you might imagine, we are a teaching and training clinic first. As a licensed professional clinical counselor in California and a licensed professional counselor in other states, I have been practicing telemental health for, well, since 2016 exclusively. We were building an e-clinic at the onset of COVID, which escalated things. And now we needed an e-clinic to help our students be able to successfully graduate, but we also want to train them on best practices. We'd like for you to be able to learn not only how to bring an effective and robust clinical presence to your client using Zoom, video, telemental health sessions, but also how to use digital therapeutics to enhance the work that you're doing with your clients. Our mission is to be a premier training site for you as an emerging clinician so that you go beyond basic Zoom telehealth sessions and understand how to use the many facets of telemental health. We use a model developed by Munoz in 2018, and we recognize that there is a telemental health continuum, that we can do those video sessions that many of us are comfortable with now post-COVID and have face-to-face through video, but we can also have our face-to-face videos augmented by what we call digital therapeutics or digital tools, and make those tools available to clients for guided self-help or even on their own when they leave the eClinic. A little bit about our client population. We do get general adult referrals. Right now, we don't see anyone under the age of 18 in our clinic. So we take some clients that just come from the larger community anywhere in California, but our primary partnerships come from the Bay Area where we serve college success agencies. And these college success agencies actually provide scholarships and mentorship to emerging college students to help them be successful in their first years and beyond with their college experience. Most of these students are coming from first generation college populations, and they're largely economically disadvantaged, and they come from the greater Palo Alto region. You can see some of the agencies that we partner with and the percentage of our client population that is comprised of each agency's students that they serve. We found that these agencies did a really good job with helping their students get placed in college and getting them set up, but they were lacking mental health care for their students, and they came to us looking for more support. And so that's been our primary service model now for the last 3 years. In addition to providing you with tools and training on how to do effective telemental health using video platforms, we also use some technology to help make your experience as a clinician even better and your outcomes with your clients better. We use a AI supported supervision platform called Elios. Helen's going to talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute. We train you on the use of chatbots that may support the work that you're doing between sessions. We use other apps that are curated, and we review them and make sure that they work for your clients before using them. And we have just developed an app for our eClinic that will allow you as a clinician to be able to share things with your clients very quickly, share homework and other types of assessments that might be beneficial to the work that you're doing with your client. So I'm going to turn it over to Helen to talk a little bit more about these.
Thank you. So one of the AI platforms we regularly use in the eClinic is Elios. You use Elios to schedule your telehealth sessions, and it is also helpful for supervision and progress notes. It automatically records and transcribes all sessions for us, and you and your supervisor can easily rewatch sessions and also add comments for each other if that's relevant. It also shows you metrics like clinician listening time and the number of opened or closed questions you asked.
You know, as a supervisor in the eClinic, one of the great benefits is that my supervisees and I can review sessions together, or I can review them on my own. I can make comments to my supervisees, but I can also very quickly find what I'm looking for because of the way the platform is established, and really helps us quickly identify and make better clinical decisions because of the information that we get. So let's take a look at some of those, Helen.
Yeah, so it also shows you on a bar graph when and for how long you talked, for example. And it also picks up on techniques you use, such as reflective listening, validation, or CBT skills. And one of the things I'd add here is, for example, your supervisor can go in and specifically at specific timestamps can actually give you feedback right at that time. One thing that the screenshot does not show is that client also received the PHQ-9 and the GAD-7 to assess for depression and anxiety every other week. Clients are currently not obligated to complete these assessments, but for the clients who do, you will receive their assessment score and how it's trending over time.
You know, what I really like about what you're sharing right here is this clinician member, which is the client talk time. This company has done research, and their research has shown us that when the clinician talks between 47 to 51% of the time, there's more positive client outcomes in terms of improvement on symptoms as well as client satisfaction. This particular screenshot that we're sharing, the clinician actually talks 43% of the time. So maybe could be a little more involved. And even if you don't understand the platform, you can probably see where the client is talking a lot at the beginning with very little clinician intervention. And then in supervision, that might be something that we talk about. So you were looking at also how you get the demographic information as well as themes.
Yes, so on the next slide. So one other thing Elios provides you with after each session are the overall themes it picked up on during the session. So for example, it will highlight if relationships seem to be a recurring theme during the session due to words like husband, son, and family coming up frequently, or it may also pick up on mental health concerns such as depression or anxiety. In addition to these bubble charts, Elios will also provide you with sample summaries of the main focus of the session, as well as your intervention and the client's response. And some eClinic clinicians actually use these summaries or parts of them for their progress notes, or I myself, for example, sometimes simply refer to them as I write out my own. So all in all, Elios is a really nifty and helpful tool. So if all this information isn't enough yet to showcase what a great place the eClinic is for clinicians in training, here's some metrics that really speak for themselves. In 2022 alone, the PAU eClinic trained 16 master's level and 1 PhD level clinician. And together they served 103 clients and provided more than 1,400 hours of service. So this adds up to $150,000 in professional services contributed. And that's really tremendous because as an eClinic clinician myself, I know that many of my clients would otherwise not have access to mental health services. And so for many of them, having the service available to them is really life-changing. So that brings us to who can work at the eClinic. So first of all, you have to be a California-based student who is enrolled in practicum or internship class, meaning once you start seeing clients, you have to be enrolled. You don't have to be enrolled at the time when you apply. You also need to have an interest in working with clients virtually. There are no in-person services being offered by the eClinic. And you also need to have access to adequate technology to conduct your sessions, as well as have supervision and for note taking. So that includes, for example, having a computer, stable internet connection, a webcam, and a microphone. And lastly, you need to have access to an adequate space to conduct these sessions, meaning you have to have a space that is private and quiet, and ideally also has a neutral background. Beyond eligibility, there are some expectations the eClinic has of their clinicians. So first of all, before you even start working with clients, you have to be able to commit to at least 2 full quarters and be able to take on a minimum caseload of 5 clients. And you want to keep in mind here that there's additional time you'll have to spend on supervision, progress notes, and some training. Second, you have to complete some concept trainings on telemental health counseling and risk assessment before you start seeing clients. And you also have to maintain individual liability insurance, which I believe most students have through their ACA membership. And there's also an eClinic info session that you need to attend. And there is the expectation that you can independently manage all client communications and administrative tasks. So that includes, for example, scheduling your sessions, going over informed consent, and creating progress notes. I actually very much appreciated the eClinic that you can so much independently just manage your caseload, which is really helpful. Once you've been assigned clients, you will want to participate in a warm handoff, especially if you're taking over an existing eClinic client. You will also need to take some time to review any prior progress notes, intake paperwork, and transfer notes. Once you're actively working with the client, you also need to submit your progress notes after each session, ideally within 24 to 48 hours. And you need to attend weekly supervision. As you likely know, you need to have 1 hour of supervision for every 5 direct client hours currently in California. So if you see more than the 5 required clients, which in some cases you can take on, you will need to arrange for more supervision with your supervisor. And then beyond these requirements, you're also expected to attend a monthly eClinic seminar and also quarterly eClinic meetings.
So our eClinic seminars are intended to help train you above and beyond basic telemental health skills to get you comfortable with using evidence-based care and measuring that care through some of our data analytics assessment, the use of apps and other tools that will really help you level up your telemental health skills and make you incredibly marketable when you leave us. Not only is that important, but our clients are also getting a lot out of the work that you do. I'd like to just share some uh, client quotes. You'll see definitely some strengths related to compassion, change, feeling supported, feeling cared about, that our clinicians are attentive. And for that, your clients are really grateful for the work that they are able to get. As you might imagine, wait lists are long everywhere. And to be able to be seen in such a wonderful clinic with clinicians that are, like you, very interested in the work is so important to our clients. And we get a lot of feedback from their mentoring agencies as well, that they really appreciate the work you're doing. Not only that, it's really fun for clinicians. So you get to learn how to be present in ways that are different from typical on the ground training. And you get to learn different ways of approaching your telemental health experience. What we really want for you is to be well educated, well trained, ethical, competent clinicians. And we want you to be experts in telemental health when you leave us. And I think we got a pretty good start at that through our eClinic platforms and the way that we approach your training. So we regularly send out calls for applications when we have openings. They typically happen before an upcoming quarter when we know some students may be graduating or leaving. So end of summer, we often have a lot of openings. Sometimes in January, we have more openings. So you'll definitely want to look out for that. We have a perpetual application area on our eClinic website, which is paloaltou.edu/eClinic. But if you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to me at my email address, which is shown here. And you'll have me and perhaps other clinicians like Helen who can share their experience and tell you a little bit about what it's like to be in the eClinic. Thank you so much for joining us for this brief introduction to the work that we do in the eClinic. And thanks to you, Helen, for being a clinician and coming up with this great idea.
Thank you.